When Sega was going head to head with Nintendo in the 1980s, they were missing one thing their competitor already had: a mascot. So in 1988, they had an in-house competition which lasted 3 years on who could create their new mascot to rival Mario. But even before that, they were already working on a game that would feature this mascot. A game that, as development came along, would emphasize speed and freedom of movement, as well as the idea of the main character rolling into a ball to attack enemies. When you know all this, their choice for using a hedgehog as their mascot seems almost logical. And thus, Sonic the Hedgehog was born. What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Backlog project, where we play through a gigantic list of games to find out which of them is worth putting onto your backlog. Got a game you'd like to see on the show? Check the description of the video to take part in our poll to decide the next game I'll review, and take a look at our massive list still to come. Your favorites missing from the list? Just message me on Twitter, Discord, or other social media, and I'll add it. Sonic's one of the few franchises I've actually already played a few entries in the series of. So going back to its roots and seeing what made it so successful and why many people say newer Sonic games tend to be bad was always a dream of mine. So when Sega announced that they would be releasing Sonic Origins, a collection of the first 4 Sonic games with some added features, I was beyond thrilled. So let's strap on those bright red shoes and spin like there's no tomorrow when we ask the question, is Sonic the Hedgehog worth putting on your backlog? The Origins version of the game has a cute little cinematic when you first boot it up that introduces us to our spiky protagonist and gives us an idea of what's happening in his world. Dr. Eggman, an evil scientist, is abducting animals all over the island Sonic lives on and turns them into robots. Sonic wants to stop him and save the animals. That's it. One of the world's most iconic logo screens rolls. Why don't they use that anymore, by the way? And we hit the title screen where Sonic shows us his cheeky side and we get to listen to a short version of the main theme. New in the Origins version is that we get to choose the character we want to play as. Since I want to review the game itself and not the port, we're choosing Sonic. We're launched straight into Green Hill Zone, definitely the series' most iconic level, and can immediately see that the game still looks pretty good today. The world is heavily stylized and very colorful, making everything just pop off the screen. Many of the background elements, like flowers and waterfalls, are also animated and look very lifelike for a 16-bit game. Every zone also features a distinct background that scrolls along when Sonic is running through the stages that really increases players' perception of the size of the world. The same is true for all of the stages. The bubbling lava and mysteriously flickering flames of Marble Zone or the casino lights of Springyard Zone are incredibly unique and give the game world a feeling of depth you wouldn't expect from a zone-based game design. Character animations are amazing as well. Sonic is so incredibly endearing in his cheeky way, and all the enemies look like weird robotic versions of real animals with their own little quirks, and when you kill them they go poof and the animal inside comes out thanking you for saving it and then hopping off. Little details like these make this game feel alive and play a huge part in why it's an absolute classic. Speaking of classics, what in the name of chaos has Masato Nakamura traded in for creating such a god-tier soundtrack? It's not often you see a bass guitarist compose the soundtrack for a game, and it really shows. Just listen to the first few seconds of what the game immediately puts on your ears when you start it. Green Hill Zone. This carries on throughout the whole soundtrack. Bass isn't just a supporting instrument here, it leads the tracks and gives them a dynamic not often heard in games. To be fair, it's not just the bass, but the soundtrack itself that just completely slaps, but as a bassist myself, I just can't not talk about this. The only exception to this is the special stage music. We'll get to these later. But let me just tell you that if you want to complete this game, be prepared for this music to haunt you in your sleep. And if I ever hear it again, I will scream. Ah! Gotta go fast. Well, yeah, but also kinda not. See, the whole idea of Sonic is that it's a super fast platformer, right? And Sonic's moveset complements this idea very well. Not only can he run really fast, he automatically damages any enemy he comes in contact with when he's jumping, except for spikes, so there's no reason to stop for combat. Sonic can also use Spin Dash by pressing down when jumping, which charges him up and propels him forward, so even when you come to a halt, you can pick up speed again right away. And there lies the problem. You do come to a halt. A lot. Because while Sonic himself is designed to really rush through the stages, the levels themselves are not. But that's not true for all stages, just like half of them. While Green Hill Zone is a perfect example of what a Sonic level should be, fast, exciting, and full of secret passages and shortcuts, the next one, Marble Zone, is anything but that. There's only one way, at least I never found another one in my 3 playthroughs, and half of your time in this level is spent pushing blocks into lava and then standing on them while they slowly make their way to the other side, while the other half is spent climbing vertically while dodging enemies and waiting for spikes to fall so you can use them as platforms. These stages feel like they were developed before the whole speed gimmick was decided upon, and they forgot to change them to support their new gameplay focus. It's not even that this kind of level design is bad, the levels themselves are well thought out. Each confronts you with their own tasks to overcome, and they're fun to play as a platformer. They just don't feel like Sonic. To be honest though, I have to believe the team deliberately designed the game to have one fast and one slow zone back to back, because this goes on for the whole duration of the game. Green Hill, fast. Marble, slow. Spring Yard, fast again. Labyrinth, even slower. Starlight, mostly fast. Scrap Brain, you can probably guess. Okay, I tried, but I can't say the name of that godforsaken place without making a statement about it, and I feel like the best way to do this is by showing you how I think it was brought into this world. Hey, you're the new guy working on Sonic the Hedgehog, right? I heard you're designing a level on the game, so what are you gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna make people scream. Scream? Like from excitement? Excitement? No. Anger. Whoever designed Labyrinth Zone must hate people. I cannot believe that anyone would create and playtest this only to say, yeah, this is fun, and going about their day. First of all, out of all the slow zones in the game, this is by far the slowest. Not only are there more roadblocks than in Marble Zone, there are tons of locked doors that you need to find a switch to open up first. Second, it's the only underwater level in the game. Being underwater in Sonic sucks. You are slowed down to about half of your normal speed. Your jumps are suddenly all floaty, and if that wasn't enough, the game expects you to stop every few seconds to grab an air bubble so you don't drown. Why can you drown in a game about speed? And why the fuck do these bubbles appear on completely random timers? Sometimes 3 breathable bubbles form in a row, and sometimes you can wait your whole breath timer without even one spawning, so you just watch Sonic drown, not being able to do anything but listen to that drowning music that is pure, undiluted stress in acoustic form. Also, that boss fight is terrible and harder than anything else in the game combined. While we're on the topic of boss fights, they're actually pretty good. I mean, you can't make crazily complex fights in a game that only features jumping and running, so it's actually impressive they've managed to create a boss fight for every zone that provides a unique challenge. Also, if you've never played a Sonic game before, the series has a unique health system in which you collect rings that get scattered when you get hit, preventing your death. It doesn't matter how many you have when you take damage, you either die because you have none, or you lose all of them instead of your life. The only difference it makes is how easy you can pick some back up, because the more you have, the more you can get back when they scatter all over the place. If you want to see the good ending of the game, you need to collect all 6 Chaos Emeralds before fighting the last boss. When you finish a stage with at least 50 rings, a giant ring will spawn at the end of the level that you can jump into to get to one of 6 so-called special stages, and they are the reason I am convinced 90s Sonic is a drug addict. I mean, just look at it. It has nothing to do with the rest of the game. It constantly turns around, shifts, gets faster and slower, and what's with the freaking animals in the background? Your goal here is to collect the Chaos Emerald, and avoiding the tiles labeled as goal, because life is a scam and Sonic's your teacher. Whoever thought it was a good idea to label the thing that makes you fail the level with a big, glowing goal sign needs to burn. An average player in the 90s probably never even thought about these being anything more than a means to collect some easy lives, because they would just head to the goal when they see it and the level just ends, not even telling you that you actually failed something. God, I hate these on so many levels. Everything from the graphics and the sound to the gameplay is just plain bad, if you can call aimlessly falling through visualized epilepsy gameplay. Sonic's first adventure was definitely a landmark title, not just for Sega, but the video game industry as a whole. It showed players and developers that there's more to jump and runs than just the widely accepted and copied Mario formula, and that is a legacy you just have to respect it for. Looking back at it though, the game was really kind of weird, wasn't it? It often slows you down the moment you pick up some speed, and even though the levels are vast and varied, there isn't much reason to explore them other than going for a better time. Deciding to complete the game is actually detrimental to your experience, because not only do you get absolutely nothing other than a slightly different ending cutscene, you also have to suffer through all the horrendous special stages in the process. This is a game that you should at least play once if you have access to it, if only for the historical value. Even if you're not heavily into jump and runs or Sonic games in general, just don't go out of your way to backlog it or even buy it, because to the average player, a game that stumbles over its own concept as much as Sonic the Hedgehog does can lead to more frustration than actual fun. So, what did you think of Sonic the Hedgehog? Is my criticism valid, or do you disagree with anything I said? Maybe you even like the game despite its flaws. Let me know in the comments down below. Go do some YouTube things. Like, dislike, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm also live on YouTube every Monday and Friday, so feel free to come by and say hi. Thank you very much for watching, and remember to always keep that backlog rolling.